Salutations, friends. It's pal, said Stevie. And today we're going to be taking a look at a knife that I just got in a few days ago from Tuya Knives. I don't have a lot of experience with Tuya at all. I handled the Tuya Big Belly. That was the carbon fiber integral crossbar lock. It was a knife that Cue Ball had sent to me to check out, and it was okay. Uh, it was just okay. It seemed like it was done well. But that's the last knife that I handled from Tuya, and that was a little while ago. So when this became available to check out in Lefty EDC's little pass around group, I hopped on it. So here it is. This is the NV4. It came in this hard case. I don't know if they all are going to come like that, but that's how it came to me. And yeah, this is the variant in Purple Haze Fat Carbon, which I'm really starting to dig. I unboxed this knife initially during my last Ramblin' from the Woods, which I'll link up there somewhere if I remember. I gave my first impressions about it. I wasn't blown away by it. However, since I've been carrying this the last 4-ish days or so, it's really grown on me, and I'm really digging it, actually. So you have thumb stud for deployment only, and the thumb stud is a little stiff. Let me back up. The thumb stud is a little stiff, it seems like, when I first handle it. And then after I mess with it for a little bit, it doesn't seem to be a problem. But after I've put it down, picked it back up, that's when it seems like it's a little stiff. But anyway, the thumb stud action is good. You're looking on this variant. This is a flat grind on a belt satin finished S90V blade. Looking at a blade length of 3.5 inches overall. I think from the heel to the tip there, whatever. I'm not sure how they measure sometimes. I don't have the overall specs, but I have to imagine that this is at least a 4-inch handle, because I get a full 4 with my hand, double XL hand. And you have a titanium frame lock here with that purple carbon, Purple Haze Fat Carbon. Now, I had to go back in my unboxing video to check it out, and it was present, but there's a little pit on this side of the inlay, a little pit right there. I don't know if that's just an imperfection in the fat carbon or what, but I went back and I didn't really do a close-up on it, but I could make it out, so it's been there since the get-go. So there's that, but I gotta say the inlay is done really nice. You don't feel any transitions whatsoever. I don't see any screws on the inside, so I imagine that this is just got some epoxy to hold it into place. So I guess if you ever wanted to change that out for whatever reason, make it your own, you'd have to figure out how to do that. But T8 on the screws, which is a nice touch. I like how they made if you're going to have a lanyard spot, I like when it's done like this. They incorporated it into the titanium backspacer. You can see here it is a non-reversible pocket clip, milled 3D titanium, so it's for right side tip up only. And then you see that fat carbon, more pits in the inlays here. So again, I don't know if that's just imperfections in the fat carbon or what, but it is noticeable. But again, the inlays are done really well. No voids in the train. In the transitions between the fat carbon and the titanium, that's done really good. You do have, looks like a lock bar insert there. This is riding on cage ceramic bearings. Pretty easy access to the lock bar with the way they did the cutout there. Disengage. It came completely centered. Centered, actually, really nice, actually, and factually. You can middle finger flick this with the thumb stud. The detent is pretty crisp. No problem deploying it. Once I get used to it, you got to get up underneath the thumb stud a little bit. But it snaps right out. The action is good to go. A little shake shut and it's home. And I haven't adjusted the pivot or anything on this. This is just how it came. Like I said, you can middle finger flick that, no problem. I haven't tried it lefty at all. No. Let's see here. Can I middle? Nope, I can't middle. It's definitely your thumb's right on the lock bar to try to middle finger flick that. But I guess for the thumb stud, it's not so bad. Some ridges on the thumb studs there don't seem to be doing anything at all. I think it's just for looks. As with the jimping is just there for looks. It does absolutely nothing whatsoever. You feel it, but it's very shallow, as you can see. And so it's not really, it's more of just a landing spot. That's it. Jimping like that is just, yeah, may as well just leave it off. Unless you're doing it for aesthetics. I guess it doesn't really matter. But ergos-wise, this is where I really like this knife. The handle shape I didn't really like at first. However, it seems to be really comfortable in hand, and I don't have any hot spots whatsoever. No choil to choke up into, but I don't feel as much as I like a good old chol. I'm realizing as long as the ergos are good, you don't really need a choil, and you do get a little bit of a spot here that you can ride up into if you want to. A little, because there's no flipper tab in the way, you can ride up into it a little bit and get some really good control over this knife, and that's what I like about it. It seems to lock into my hand really, really well. I thought that the blade shape was going to be a lot different looking at this knife. Looks like it's going to be kind of a bulbous type blade shape, and it's not at all. The stop pin keeps this from the way they've designed it. It's, a lot of times you'll see the blade is very close to the edge of the backspacer there, or the open part of the knife, and it's way down in there. So they stop it really early. And I think it kind of gives a misleading, not in a bad way, but it's a little misleading to how the blade shape's going to look. But the sheep's foot style blade, I really dig. And as I mentioned, it is S90V. I don't know how their heat treat is. I did not see that listed on the website. And then you see the maker's mark there, which I believe is this guy here. Dave Warren. He's the distributor and I guess the designer also. But this blade shape is definitely good to go. I like the way the kind of the chamfer there, or not the chamfer. I always lose my terminology once I start doing the video. Just the way they have ground the blade is really nice. It appears to be sharp, but I haven't tested the edge yet. Okay. It's not bad. I don't know how many times this has cut. Probably could use a little stropping. But, yeah, this blade seems good to go. Good to go, indeed, as I knock my mat around. So, as I mentioned, I have been carrying this knife for 4 days now. It does go in and out of pocket just fine. I didn't think I was going to like the pocket clip, but again, I'm doing it off camera, but I'm doing it live right now. Slides in just fine. Has some decent retention, and I can pull it out just fine. Doesn't look like you're going to have much room there, and then by the way the lock bar cutout is, seems like you might have some troubles there, but I'm not having any troubles whatsoever. So the pocket clip's good to go. Really, to me, where this knife starts to shine is the ergos. It doesn't seem like it'd be anything fancy whatsoever, but I really dig this knife. I didn't have high, as I mentioned when I unboxed it, like, okay, this is a knife, but I'm digging it. I don't know what it is. It's kind of just the total package, I guess. Makes me like this knife. And they are reasonably priced. Right now on, I guess my neighbors are going to do some construction. So this is in stock on White Mountain Knives. And I will leave my link in the description with this. You can use Stevie 10 to get 10% off. But it's $269, so minus $26 brings this down to, whatever the math on that is, 232, I can't do the math, 240 maybe? 240-ish? Do the math for me, people, and please don't call me stupid. But I think it's a reasonably priced knife for Purple Haze, Fat Carbon, and um, titanium S90V on the steel. They have a couple of other flavors as well. Where was it? NV4. I think they have an aluminum fat carbon, or an aluminum infused carbon fiber, and a copper infused. And those are a little bit cheaper. So this is an open boxed one for $225. Minus your 10%, that's a pretty good deal on that. So $239 for the copper, $239 for the aluminum, and then I don't know why. Oh, there it is. Why is the Purple Haze not showing up on there? I don't know, but it said $269. So I think that's a fairly reasonable price for this knife. Sure, I'd love all knives to be $200 and under, but I don't think that that's too bad of a deal for this. I am digging it. I like a good sheep's foot blade. I think the thumb studs are done pretty well. Detent is snappy. Ergos are spot on. You're getting a good blade steel, assuming that it is properly heat treated, which I just did not see at all. Nice flat grind on the blade. And then one other thing that when I was looking on the Tuya website to get a little bit more information about this knife, he thanks Colin Mason Pierre for the help with this. So I don't know what Colin's input was to this, but shout out to CM Knife Designs. I'm a big Colin Mason Pierre fan. One half of Devo Knives, and a fine knife designer in his own right. So there you go, folks. The Tuya Envy 4. The pits in the fat carbon are a bummer. I would be a little ticked off if I got this one, and it's something that I might consider wanting to ask my point of purchase, so White Mountain Knives, about that. Again, I've handled Purple Haze Fat Carbon before with the Kaimano Sharif Manganis design, and it didn't have any like that. So I don't know if there's just something up with that, but it's you don't feel it, but it's clearly pitted in those two spots there, and then even more so on the backside. And that's from, there's zero chance that it's been from anything that I've done, because this has gone in and out of pocket only, and when it's not in pocket, I'll put it back in there. So yeah. Other than that, I think that this checks a lot of boxes for me, and I don't know that I'll be picking it up. This falls in one of those categories for me right now that if I didn't have my sights on so much other stuff, it'd be a definite maybe. I would put it in the category of my reserve list for sure. If one day things have changed and I am looking for something, in the 250-ish mark, I guess, once discounts are done and it's still available, I'd consider picking this up. But if it's something that you're interested in and it's checking your boxes, you got my 2 thumbs up on this one. And I didn't really think I was going to like this at first, but it's not bad. What do you guys think? The Tuya Envy 4. That's all I got for you folks. Appreciate you tuning in. I should say one more time, shout out to Lefty EDC for the pass around on this. I really do appreciate it, dude. And yeah, just wanted to make sure I gave the homie, the douche bro Lefty, a quick shout out. You guys have heard of her before, right? I'm sure you have. If not, go subscribe to her. But anywho, now that's all I got for you. Don't forget to subscribe right there if you haven't done so already. And check out that video too. And until the next one, I bid you mofos Odysseus.